Hi, my name's Elizabeth Gronke. I'm an access educator at the American Folk Art Museum in New York City. And today I'm so glad that you are looking at this video, another video visit from the Folk Art Reflections program. I want to show you some images from our collection, some artwork that is made from some unexpected household materials. And it's going to be fun because some of the materials are very easy to identify. Some are transformed beyond recognition, and we can look at it together and figure it out. Also, I'm hoping it's going to help you look around where you live and your home and see if there's anything we can transform into art at the end of this. So let's dive in and look at our first image. Here we are. Yes, it's a snake, a rattlesnake. And I apologize if you're scared of snakes to start off like this, but this one is completely harmless. It's made by the American folk artist Ron Rodriguez. He's from the American Southwest, and he comes from a family tradition of folk art. So let's take a look at this sculpture and notice the colors, notice the shape, notice the details he put in there, and take a look at the body of the snake. Any guesses as to what he might have used to make this? Here's a close-up for you. Does it look familiar? Go ahead and pause the video if you think you want to make a guess, and then I'll tell you what it is. That's right. I bet you guessed it. It's bottle caps. What I imagine the artist had to do was collect the bottle caps, paint them the colors he wanted, put a hole through the middle of them, and then string them like beads on, like a necklace, onto a wire. And then he could bend the wire however he wanted. And it really looks snake-like. It makes it look like the scales of the snake, and it makes it look like it can move in a fluid way like a snake. Very clever. All right, I have another image for you. An unknown artist this time. And here they are. What do they look like to you? Let's just take a look at these little sculptures. They're small. That's something I can tell you. And as I mentioned, the artist is unidentified. We're not sure who made them. But the museum has a collection of quite a little zoo of these creatures. To me, they look a bit like insects or animals. But the other question we can ask is, what did the artist use to make these? Any guesses? If you want, you can pause your video and discuss amongst yourselves what was used to make these. I'll tell you. They were made from tin cans. They were somehow cut and painted, and they had some little plastic jewelry applied to them. And I love the way that they're so animated and cleverly put together. And I also like the mystery of wondering who made them. Now, speaking of mysteries, the next object I want to show you is a sculpture made by someone who's known in the art world as the Philadelphia Wireman. Now, this is an unknown artist. Nobody knows who made these pieces. There were over 1,000 of these small wire abstract sculptures found in Philadelphia, and we don't know who made them. What we do know is that they're full of objects of the real world, objects that we can identify. So together, we're going to look at the image together, and I would like you to try to identify as many items, household items that are in this sculpture as you can. All right, ready, set, go. Here it is. Little abstract wire sculpture made by the Philadelphia Wireman. Take a look. What do you see in there? If you want, I really recommend that you pause the video. If you're sitting with someone, you can take turns identifying objects in here. I can identify at least 5 for sure that I know what it is. There are a few things in here I'm not sure what they are. I'm going to tell you the first thing I identified here, and it's the yellow part of a folding measuring stick. Right there. Did anybody else find a pink button? Right there in the center. And what about an arm of a pair of eyeglasses or sunglasses? You see it there, the black shape behind everything, kind of holding everything up? Yep. And then what about all the wire that we see wrapped around everything? I'm pretty sure it's a coat hanger, a wire hanger. And then the next object, I couldn't figure out what it was at first, but now I think it's part of a clip-on earring right next to the pink button. You see it? That silver shape? If you know it to be something else, please let me know. But it's fun to look at, and it's quite energetic little piece. Well done, everybody. We found the objects. I have one more sculpture I want to share with you. It's quite different than the other ones I've shared so far. And you'll see it's also made from some very familiar items. So this is clearly a figure. I happen to know that it is a lady because the title of this piece is Bengal Lady at Well. I believe she's fetching water. You can see that she has something like a jug next to her at her feet. And take a look at the colors. Take a look at what she's standing on. She's not really life-size sculpture. She stands about 3 feet tall. And you can notice a lot about her. And I'd like you to think about what this sculpture is made of. The artist is named Nek Chand, and he's from India. And that may give you some clues about what these materials are. Here's a close-up of the lower section of the sculpture to give you a better chance to figure out what it's made of. Did you figure out what the bottom section is, the white pieces? That's right. It's ceramic cups and plates. And then the colorful section that makes up the woman's clothing is a little more challenging to figure out. I think you should try to guess, but I'm going to tell you. It is made of broken pieces of thin bracelets, bangles, like the ones that many women in India wear. Here's the whole piece for you to see again. Now, the story of Nek Chand and how he started making sculptures like this is quite extraordinary. He was living in the city of Chandahar in northern India, and it was part of a massive city planning project. And he was a road inspector. And he was finding interesting stuff by the side of the road. He was finding pottery. He was finding bracelets like we saw in the sculpture. And he was finding all sorts of beautiful things that he didn't want to discard. So he did something that wasn't exactly legal. He cleared off a little piece of land that was public land, cleared it out, and started to make a garden. And in this garden, he started making sculptures using the found objects. And eventually, secretly, over years, this garden grew and grew. And I'm happy to say that in the end, the government of India supported him and his project and has celebrated his work. This fabulous garden has pathways, water features, little rivers. It's filled with all kinds of sculptures of animals and people. And it's loved by the city of Chandahar and really the whole country of India. It's a success story of the self-taught artist, if there ever was one. In 2006, the American Folk Art Museum had an exhibition devoted entirely to Nek Chand and his rock garden. So if you're interested, I recommend you check out the website that I put below so that you can learn more, see more images, find out more about his story. It's pretty extraordinary what he did and how he was able to literally take objects from the side of the road, objects that he saw the potential beauty of, and turn it into something that's celebrated by the world. All of the artists we learned about today saw the potential to take everyday objects and turn them into art materials. Ron Rodriguez's clever rattlesnake made of bottle caps is one. The tin can creatures that we saw earlier. The Philadelphia Wireman and his brilliant use, or her brilliant use of materials. And of course, Nek Chand's Bengal Lady at the Well and his amazing sculpture garden that he created. So I'm hoping that you will feel inspired to make some art out of something that you can easily get right where you are. So I'd like to suggest a material that's pretty easy to come by as a starting point. A piece of aluminum foil. So all you have to do to get started is tear off a piece, scrunch it up. Maybe if you're going to make a figure, you could start with some legs. Nice bow legs here. Tear off another piece, crumple it up. Oops. Make a little torso. So far, so good. Tear off another piece. Wrap some arms around this body. Make some hands. Looks like it's running. And I do want to put a head on this. You can take the whole rest of it, ball it up. And I've got a little figure. Little running man or woman. So get creative with some foil. See what you can make. You can press the foil on top of interesting textures. You can do the shape. You can wrap your hand and make a sculpture of your hand. You can fashion a crown for yourself. Show me what you can try with some foil. And I would love to see what you make. As always, I'm very interested in what you do. And I'm thrilled that you spent this time learning about artists that take household materials, discarded materials, and turn them into something interesting and beautiful. I know you could do it too. So share what you got. Here's my email, and I will look forward to another visit in the future.